and then I'll give you some time to work on this. Now, with absolute values, there are some very easy ways to make little mistakes. So I'm going to just give you, off to the side here, some helpful hints, 2 of them. Helpful hint number 1. Think of absolute values as brackets. In order of operations, say you do brackets first. So order of operations say you should simplify inside your brackets first. So simplify inside your absolute values first. 2. Once you have a single number inside your absolute values, if it's not positive already, change that number to positive. And put brackets instead of absolute value signs. This is not always necessary, but sometimes it is, and it's going to be very helpful for you not making little mistakes. Like this, absolute values are so easy to make little mistakes. For one, they're straight lines. You know what's nice about brackets? One bracket is bent one way, the other one's bent the other way. You can sort of see what they're holding. Absolute values, you sometimes get confused which line is which. I actually like to color code. For example, sometimes students look at question A and go, ooh, there's a -2 inside absolute values. That's a single number. I'm going to change it to positive. But we have to be careful here, because if I color code, here's my first absolute value bar, I'm going to do in purple. Where does that one close? It closes here. And then we have another one, which I'm going to color code in orange. It closes here. Is the -2 in absolute value bars? No, because it's different ones. But it's really easy to get that mixed up because they all look the same and they're all straight up and down. With regular brackets, it would be easy to see. They would be like bent this way, and you'd be like, okay, that -2 isn't in brackets because both my brackets are bent away from it. But with absolute values, that's not as easy. So for A, what we're going to do is think of the brackets, think of the absolute values of brackets, and simplify inside first. So the purple ones. Can I simplify inside? -26 plus 13 is -13. The temptation that students have is like, ooh, absolute values make things positive, and they just change everything to positive right at the beginning. That's going to cause problems because then you'd have 39 inside when it should be a -13. Then I have the -2, and then I have my orange absolute values. Simplify inside of them. 10 minus 16 is -6. And depending how you spaced it, and I think I've done a very terrible job of spacing here, it just looks like 3 numbers with a bunch of straight lines. It's kind of confusing. So this is where, once you have a single number inside your absolute values, change it to positive. So absolute value of -13 is positive 13, but I'm going to keep it and change my absolute values to brackets. Whether it's needed or not, this is going to be helpful for us. So if that's going to be -13, then I have still the -2, and then my orange absolute value of -6, that's going to be +6. I'll change that to brackets. Can you see that the -13 didn't need to be put in brackets? But it's very important that the 6 is in brackets. Because what is this 2 with a bracket? That's multiplication, right? If you didn't write the brackets, you might think you have the number 26. Could get you confused that way. So now I don't need the brackets here, so minus 2 times 6 is going to be minus 12. And then 13 minus 12 is 1. There's my final answer. None of the math was super hard, but it's super easy to get confused where you are. So some helpful hints. Color code when you have multiple absolute values so that you can see which one's which. We simplify inside of those first. Then once you have a single number, that's when you can actually do the absolute value, which is like, how far is that number away from 0? Which makes all negative numbers positive and keeps all positive numbers the same. But when I do that, I replace it with brackets just so that I don't lose my order of operations, what's multiplying, what's adding. And then after that, it's math you've done before. So things are pretty good and pretty straightforward. Okay? Example 2, I only have one set of absolute values. So they start there and they end there. So in B, I can draw my absolute values. And now I'm evaluating when x is equal to 2. So I'm just going to plug in. And again, even though there's a bunch of negative signs, I will simplify inside first. This will be 2 squared 4, negative 8, minus 6, minus 4, which ends up being minus 18. And once you get that single number, then you can apply what does absolute value mean, how far away is that from 0, make it positive, and our answer is 18. So I'll get you to circle questions 12, 13,